Thank you. I think Jack said it all in terms of why this is important. Let me start by saying I'm really proud to be a part of this in Tucson, in my city, and to be associated with my colleagues that are leading these organizations that provide services. I wouldn't be up here if I didn't think this was possible. And it makes me very proud. This is an American issue. It makes me very proud to be in a city that's going to lead. And make no mistake about it, with what we have, the groundwork we have laid, we can do that. I'm going to comment on three things. One, why this is important, although we don't need to say much more about that than what you've heard. Why this is important. Why I think it's possible for Tucson to lead and not a pipe dream. What's in place that's unique. And three, what it is we're going to do. Why it's important is what the logo is. Remember this logo, the blooming cactus, the blooming flower. Tucson flourishes because we lead in literacy. Substitute blooms. Tucson blooms. Now that happens in a number of ways. Jack made the hard-nosed business case for it. The city's economy blooms. It takes off when people get off the social services rolls, pay taxes, when healthcare, Medicaid healthcare goes down because people are not relying on it, they have health insurance, and when people, the prison population goes down. The root of that is literacy. Low literacy people are on the social service rolls and don't pay taxes. And they don't want to be there. I've been tutoring a woman who has just now, last week, passed the entrance exam to a vocational training program. And in 7 weeks, she's going to be a taxpayer. And she's been on the social service rolls. Just one example of the many out there. So the hard-nosed economic case is very clear. Secondly, if you just think about human potential, just get in touch with what literacy has done for you in your life, what it's done for your children, what it's like to see a baby grinning from ear to ear as they're looking at the pictures in a book and connecting the fact these symbols mean something. Babies that go into their cribs and make those happy syllables as a consequence of the book that they're thinking about and that has just erupted in their imagination. What it's like when the light bulb goes on for second, third, and fourth graders who finally make the connection between symbols and words and can ride along in a car and read the sign. And what it's like for a teen or an adult who finally gets the self-respect to be able to read to their own children or to their grandchildren. And the lost human potential of people as a consequence of getting left behind for one reason or another. The vast majority of them want to change that. And of course the third reason it's important is our own democracy. Our forefathers said very clearly that the depository of our political and religious freedom is education. And if we haven't seen that manifest in terms of all of our need to improve our financial literacy and the threat that we now feel to our political and religious freedom. So the depository of our freedom is in the education of the masses. And this is an issue for America, and Tucson is well positioned to lead it. So it's important. Why do I think it's possible? To actually move the needle, turn the curve upward. There's a book called Trying Hard is Not Good Enough. And it's got a chapter on turning the curve upward. Off the incremental, turn it up. It's possible for a couple of reasons. One, the previous speakers also mentioned the people in this room that have been delivering services. It is humbling to see what has been accomplished at every level. And now we've got the whole pipeline involved in the coalition. And I just want to mention the people, maybe just stand up. At the early childhood level, pre-K, we have in this room Will Kramer, Reach Out and Read, Mary Jane Bancroft, Make Way for Books. We have, oh, you're not going to stand up, are you? We have at the elementary school Reading Seed and all the Rotary support behind that with Betty Knott. And I don't know if Stephanie Bowser's in the room or not, it's Sears, a great representation of high school involvement with Voices, and the adult literacy piece with Betty Stopper, who's been mentioned, Literacy Volunteers of Tucson, and the actual largest provider, Pima Community College Adult Ed, Jim Lipset and Amy Magastos are in the room, and as well as the whole adult, you can stay standing, whole adult education. The whole adult education program in the Pawhuska Yaqui tribe. Esther Stopper's been very active in the coalition. And then we have on top of that all the volunteers from the University of Arizona, Oasis Intergenerational Volunteers of Tucson, and the library providing services all across the board. Where's Dawn? I saw two people from the library here. Nancy Lenagorge has been a great force, and as well as the Interfaith Council organization. Then, in addition to the people that are actually on the ground providing services at every level along this pipeline, we have around the table in this coalition the organizations who have it as their priority to fund literacy. Community Foundation, of course, represented here by Steve, but also by my partner in this, Tomas Leon, who has...
Stand up. Come on.
And the United Way, Paula's here, I saw Paula, United Way, Altruista International, Patty is back there, and Social Venture Partners, Rotary's back behind the scenes, and some private philanthropists also. So it's this, to me, these people are pros, they're experienced. And what they've been accomplishing in their own organizations is phenomenal if you plot the trend over the last 10 years or so. Now, with everyone around the same table, look at the resources that come, human resources and the monetary resources behind these people. So I'm proud to be associated with you, and that's why we can do this, the primary reason. We can also do it because there is new seed money. The Community Foundation has established a special fund, and $1 million fund to get it going. Now, that requires partners. They're not going to give away that money without partners, so we're going to be looking for partners. And there are the other organizations I just mentioned that are also stepping up with money. So there's money to seed it. There'll never be enough money. Don't mistake that. There'll always be after money. But there's money to seed it. And then thirdly, the community, governmental, and business leadership is behind it. Jack, Steve, Ron, here today. I had a meeting with Joe Snell, right, a trio, it's the same. So you have this kind of expertise, money, and this kind of support in the community. That's very special, very unique. So that's the second thing. That's why I think it's possible.